Look, as we all know, how you do your job determines how your job gets done, right? Trite, but true. And there's a lesson to be learned. Question: why isn't the conclave to elect a new pope being held today? Why wait? Because big decisions benefit from forethought. The funeral is Saturday, and by the way, it's right for the President of the United States to go, and he is. Good. While he's there, I hope our president notices something. The Catholic Church requires 9 days of mourning before even scheduling the conclave to choose the next pope. You ever hear of a novena? It means 9 days of prayer. This is the same concept. With the Pope, it's called the Novem Diales, Latin for 9 days. It's a practice that's not so much about honoring Il Papa's passing or even faith in religion, but a deep belief in the need to plan, to ruminate, to think, to strategize about what you are about to do so that you prepare to do it right. Aristotle said it best. We deliberate not about ends, but about means. The fruit of deliberation is in how to achieve something. I'm pointing out time-tested best practices. Why? To show the contrast to what we are suffering through with Trump's tariff tango. We are now seeing both that our president did not think it through, or Lutnick didn't think it through, or that he refuses to learn the lesson, or that Lutnick refuses to learn the lesson, because they keep making bad moves despite an alleged good end goal, rebalancing the benefits of trade for the American middle class. The proof is abundant. Tariff everyone. Tariff a lot. Okay, tariff some a lot. Okay, tariff only some and not that much, except for China. China, very much. China the most. Well, wait a minute. Maybe not that much. Okay, don't tariff China so much again. Don't play too hardball with China. Four-dimensional chess? This isn't even tic-tac-toe level game theory. To this point, everything the president has done has created a problem, not a solution. Widespread uncertainty about America as a sound investment has taken root because of perceived unstable leadership. The indexes only tell part of the story. Investors all over the world are now making a trade they call the Sell America trade, increasing the odds of a recession, raising the odds for higher inflation, causing consumer confidence to plummet to lower levels than we saw since certainly the Great Recession. And the stock market, as we all know, is on track to have its worst April since the Great Depression. So these moves have not been winners. Oh, but you have to give it time. Not if there is no plan that uses the time. Now, making it worse, in my estimation, as expected, we hear Trump softening his tone on tariffs with China.
I'm not going to mention COVID. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm going to play hardball with China. I'm going to play hardball with you, President Xi. No. We're going to be very nice. They're going to be very nice. 145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high. It'll come down substantially, but it won't be zero.
Look, to me, the worst part about the move is why he's making it. It is certainly not because China has made any concessions. They have been apparently just mocking every move he's made as they shore up trade deals with our aggrieved allies. China is literally laughing at us. The hashtag Trump chickened out has been viewed over 150 million times on China's Weibo app. Of course, they don't let our social media in there in any real way, right? Part of the problem. Instead of hammering China for the middle class, the president now seems to be pulling back for the same people who enabled China's success in the first place. All the elite corporate insiders are coming to him and telling him to stop doing what was intended to help the middle class because it's not helping them. I thought that was the whole point, that those pigs have been at the trough long enough. But now, Trump seems to be more interested in the pigs' interests than in those who have been starving, the middle class. And by the way, I told you this would happen. Who believes that these tariffs are still in place a month from now? Well, I will bet both of you guys a bottle of whatever you like, okay? 1 month from today, these tariffs are not the way they are today. Lucky for those guys, I'm not drinking. Now, why have I been predicting it? Because it's not really an opinion. It's a matter of common sense. Trump has no plan. Therefore, there's no reason to take the pain because he has no way to justify it, right? I believe this president still has to prove that he isn't just playing at being a populist. Talk is cheap. Policy is what delivers. On Monday, the CEOs of Target, Walmart, Home Depot, and others privately warned Trump tariffs would lead to empty shelves in their stores, and that's a bad look politically for him, hearkening back to the dark days of the pandemic. In other words, stop focusing on the middle class. Get back to focusing on us. More proof that he is obviously more about helping those who've already been helped. Wall Street special interests got inside information that they likely profited off of today. Yesterday, Treasury Secretary Bessent told Wall Street investors in a closed-door meeting that the trade war with China was about to de-escalate. Then this morning, at the start of trading, surprise, stocks shot up 4%. At the same time, listen to this. What do you do when things are getting tough here at home? Whom do you help? Well, we're going to see it. We're going to know by what you show, right? Trump is laying off on the burden to the rich, right, to the corporate types who are worried about these tariffs in the markets, right? But you know who he's dropping the hammer on? The same people he said he would be helping. The Trump administration announced this week they're going to start collecting defaulted college loan payments from over 5 million borrowers. If they can't pay, Trump will begin garnishing millions of Americans' wages at the worst time possible for workers. Now, look, I get you owe money on a loan, you should pay. But remember, it was Trump who put the stop on paying during the pandemic because of his gross mismanagement, right? Everything was so bad, there was so much suffering that he paused loan payments. What I don't get is why he's going after people who owe money on student loans when he had no problem allowing those who used and abused PPP loans getting away with 90% of their loans being forgiven. And these loans didn't just go to small businesses. They went to all kinds of companies, mega rich owners, real estate developers, country clubs, golf courses, members of Congress, even Kanye West or whatever he calls himself. And in Trump's final days of office, he actually gave a major pass to people who took out multi-million-dollar PPP loans that were flagged for fraud. He made it harder to get caught for fraud. I mean, come on. Who are you about? I have been consistent and insistent that going after China and other trade partners to reestablish America's middle class is a noble and necessary, if none too easy, a goal. Trump is getting a lot of credit for wanting the same thing, but his failing to plan looks like he is planning to fail. Even if you assume he wants to do the right thing and he just needs time, that fails when you look at what he's doing with his time. If you don't do the right things, it doesn't matter how long you have. And it doesn't seem MAGA can stand for making anything great again, except those that America has been great for already. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.